It is, of course, Good News Friday, and my co-host is here. Larry Goldberg joins us wherever we are, somewhere in the world. I guess you're probably in your normal haunts in Florida, right?
No, my normal haunts in North Carolina.
North Carolina, that's right. What's wrong with me? Everybody else is in Florida.
Yeah, everybody else. But starting in April, I will be in Europe
Yes.
for 3 months.
Yeah. Sounds like
So we'll have to keep somehow keep the frequency going.
Oh, it'll get really complicated because I'll be spending a month in New England and Canada, and
Oh, wow.
while you're in Europe. So we'll just be proving how amazing the world is today in terms of getting us all hooked up.
Yeah.
Well, we are good news again on Friday. We had a good day, $4 up on Tesla today, and are we now seeing momentum?
I think so. I think that Dan Ives said it best when he said that the stock really can't get out of this funk that it's in until and unless they resolve the Elon's contracts.
Right.
And I say contracts because there are two issues really.
Sure.
The one issue is all about, the past, fixing that problem.
Yep.
And the other is all about the future. So we need both done. And the other thing that Dan and I have said is we need to get out of Delaware. I saw today that Neuralink re-registered out of Delaware into Nevada.
Oh,
which makes a lot more sense than Texas, by the way.
yeah.
Nevada or South Dakota, it depends on exactly what the considerations are, but and I don't pretend to know much about it. So, I think we're in a state of limbo until that's fixed, but they should fix that soon enough.
Right. And if you really take into consideration, I think we may have talked about this earlier this week, when you look at the actual expectations for 2024, it isn't horribly unfairly priced at this point. Something between 200 and 300 is probably fair given the 2024 numbers. Now, if you start adding options for the future, or you start looking at 25 and 26 numbers, it's a whole nother story. But if you're only short-terming it, 2024 is going to be maybe a 20, 30% increase in profits. And that maybe means we have a little bit of a subdued price for a while.
Yeah, and it could even be less than 20%. I mean, I think it really depends on how successful the year is. How successful they're able to expand the already fairly, significant TAM of the Y.
Right.
And how successful the update of the 3 is. I think a lot turns on that.
Energy, of course.
Energy, it seems to me that this year is going to be still a relatively low margin year, because as I looked at the margins on energy, I think the margins are going to be very much higher than they're currently reporting.
Mm-hmm.
But it depends on contract completion dates.
Right.
So I think what we'll see is that the energy revenue is going to creep up. The margins are going to remain relatively low. And then at a point in time, the worm turns, and then, revenues jump and margins jump.
Yeah.
As these contracts, are fully resolved or fully completed. And, that's what I'm thinking. And we just don't have enough information, but I think that's how it's looking.
So one of my theories, of course, Larry, is my 2026 theory. You kind of said the other day that you kind of agree. I think you maybe even did agree with my 2026 theory. And by the end of 2024, people will probably be looking pretty hard at those 2026 numbers.
Yes.
And the 2025 numbers will be becoming a lot more clear. So anyway, I want to play a game with you as we head into Super Bowl weekend.
Okay.
Let's play a game. And I'm going to
What's the prize?
The prize. What is the prize? I'm going to suggest that those of you who are playing along at home would get out a piece of paper or get your virtual paper up on your device, whatever you're doing, and answer these questions along with Larry and me. And let's take a look at what's going to happen in 2026 on a percentage probability level. What we think in our brain. So a great way to value something in terms of like a company is what are the probabilities that it's going to reach X or Y or Z. So I've got 10 questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready to
Is everybody
play
ready?
10 questions.
Is everybody ready at home? All right, let's go. All right. So, and I would say also to look at, not you, Larry, but at home, look at every one of these as if it was your entire reason for investing in Tesla. So how would, if this was a standalone company for each of these 10 questions, and you depended on these answers to value the company, how would you value them? So here's number one. What is the chance, do you think, Larry, that Tesla will sell at least 2.4 million sexy vehicles in 2026? That does not include the Cybertruck, just the original 4 in 2026, 2.4 million. Of course, they're about.
That's a very good and tricky question because it doesn't include next gen and it doesn't include the Cybertruck and it doesn't include the Semi. And it doesn't include the new Roadster. So I would say there's 100% chance of 2.4 million vehicles.
Okay, all right. And for those of you at home, you might also consider this a couple of subsets of this. Like, for instance, what would it be at 2 million? What are your chances of 2 million? Or if you're more optimistic, what do you think the chances are of 3 million? So that's a way of looking at it. All right.
Yeah, and I think there's my number is a 70% chance of 3 million.
Uh-huh. Okay. All right. So number two, what percent chance that they sell 250,000 Cybertrucks in
100%.
100%. Okay, there's another easy one. And again, you could divide that up and you could say, is it 300,000? Is it 200,000? And what are the odds? And that's just another way of
I'm going to shoot for 300,000 in 2026.
At 100%.
At 80%.
At 80%. All right. Okay. We're by the way, we're marking this down, Larry.
All right.
All right. What about this one? What are the chance that they do 20,000 megapacks at 1.5 million average each? And that would be 100% of the output from Lathrop and Shanghai, but no other facilities coming online between now and then.
Well, they did 16 gigawatt hours last year. 20,000 megapacks a little tricky because I don't know how many gigawatt hour size packs, but at 1.5, I guess those are 4 gigawatt hours.
This is 10,000 packs, which is the full output.
No, 20,000 packs.
Well, 10,000 packs per place.
I got it. I got it.
20,000 total.
Yeah, each pack can be as little as 1 gigawatt hour or as much as 4 gigawatt hours. So, but I don't think they're ever going to produce the full capacity. I think they're always going to be building at about 80% of capacity. So my answer is that there's only about a 70% chance of that.
Okay, and so your number probably would be somewhere closer to 16,000 megapacks.
That's roughly the number in the forecast that the sort of rough forecast I built up. Yes, that's correct.
All right, and that again includes no other facilities.
No other facilities, yeah.
Right. All right. So number 4, what percent chance that they make 40,000 semi-trunks? Hello, trucks. The current statement is that they will begin production later this year. They have begun the building. The building is coming up. So that gives us 2 years to get to 40,000 per year.
I think 40,000 is a lot.
Okay.
A heck of a lot.
Because of TAM or because producing?
Because of batteries.
Because of batteries, I see.
That's a boatload of batteries, or truckload, or many
Truckload.
truckloads of batteries. I think there's not much better than a 50-50 chance of that.
50-50 chance. And if you were to do the subsets, what would your number be that you think's 100% for 2026?
Well, that implies 20K
I see. Okay.
semis.
Okay.
And that, even that's kind of, I would regard that as the 80% mark. So you know what, I want to say about 16,000.
All right. Now, remember, there will be the new Panasonic factory will be up and running. By then, you'll have the new CATL batteries coming in, the CATL production line that we're going to put in Reno by that time.
All battery factories take time to ramp up.
Right.
Every battery factory I've ever known has taken a year or two to ramp up. So
Right.
I'm factoring that in.
Okay. All right. Number 5, what percent do you think, speaking of batteries, that we get 4680 ramped to at least 2 gigawatt hours? Not in 2024, not in 2025, but in 2026, we're running full out at
100%.
100% chance. All right. No problem there. All right. Cool. All right. Then what is number 6 is what percent chance that they will deploy 10,000 Optimus bots? 0 chance in 2026. Not a chance. So the subset on that one would be then when?
The subset would be just it would be a percentage of that.
Oh, less than 10,000.
Yes, it would
Okay.
be, in the low thousands.
In 2026.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and just for fun, because of course my number would be completely different than yours, what do you think the limiting factor will be in 2026?
Just the build out, just the use cases, it's just 2026 will be the year of introduction to the marketplace. And it's going to take a while to get each client introduced and up and running.
Okay. All right. So you think it'll be more of a 2027 product?
Yes.
Okay. All
I'm
right.
pretty sure it's going to be a 2027 product. And I'm pretty sure the numbers are going to be fairly solid. But I don't talk in the tens and hundreds and millions of bots in the early years. I think it's a brand new market. It's going to take a lot of work to build up. And there are going to be a lot of players each building.
Okay. All right. Number 8, what percent chance that FSD will be complete and you'll be able to drive your car from the back seat in 2026?
100% certain that FSD will be complete in 2026, but I'm not sure that you will be legally entitled to get into the back seat.
I see.
I think there may still be legal issues around it, and I don't know how regulatory how the organs of regulation are going to deal with it, and which ones will deal with it, and so on and so forth. So I really think it's going to be a while, but I do think that we will see FSD at truly, production capable levels.
So I would be happy if they just get rid of the nag on the steering wheel, and so use just the camera to make sure I'm awake.
Yeah, I think there's 100% chance that they will eliminate the nag. I think the nag has, the regulator is not crazy about the nag either.
Oh, really? Okay.
So the regulator wants a better way to know that your hand's on the wheel. But I think that, when we get to level 4 or level 5, I think that will change the game, and they will definitely relent. So, we're in 2024 right now. This is 2 years' time. I'm fairly relaxed that in 2 years' time, we will be, I'll be shocked if we're not clear and have a level 4 or level 5 system at that point.
Okay. Number 9, what % chance that robotaxi will be rolled out in at least a few regions or nations?
See, the problem with that, yeah, I think it will be rolled out in multiple regions, a la Waymo or Cruise. Well, Cruise is no longer cruising, but I think there will be some nations or some states that are more aggressive than others. I think there's going to be some kind of requirement that Tesla have the ability to remotely control these cars
Wow.
in a pinch. I think that as we've watched the Cruise and Waymo experience, I think the ability for Tesla to be able to take control of the cars, to get them out of sticky situations, or to resolve,
Right.
accidents or unforeseen circumstances, I think that's going to be a requirement. I don't think that's going to be a difficulty for Tesla either.
Right. Right.
I think they will evolve that, but I think that's going to be a requirement.
Okay. Number 10. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go to number 11, Larry. I'm gonna reserve my number 10 for a minute because I thought of a number one that I had completely forgotten about. What percentage chance do you think that Tesla will sell at least 100,000 Gen 3 platform vehicles in 2026?
Wow.
That would be a normal ramp.
In 2026.
That would be a normal 1-year ramp for like the Cybertruck if the Cybertruck had, started in
I think a good 85%.
85% chance. Okay.
I think, if you told me 50,000, I would say 100%, because
Right.
it's not clear to me that they'll start at the beginning of 2026. I expect them to, but I don't think there's a 100% chance of that.
Got it.
I think if you ask me, will they start delivery in 2026? I'd say 100% chance.
Right.
Whether it'll be 50,000 cars or 100,000 cars, I don't know.
All right. Well, here's the $1 million last question.
$1 billion.
What trillion dollar maybe? What percentage chance in 2026 that Elon Musk will still be at the helm?
100%.
Okay.
1,000%. Elon's not going anywhere.
So we talked about
if
get the package.
No, God willing, if he's alive.
Okay. All right. Okay.
If he has breath to breathe, he will be at the helm of Tesla.
Okay. And we talked a little bit about the pay packages and everything just a second ago, but the news this week has been so much around the pay package and the court case and about Elon Musk and some of his sophomoric statements and about people that have finally had it with Elon, even though they still love Tesla and all the engineers and the appeal and 25% voting rights. And I mean, it's just on and on. This week, you almost can't get any news about the Tesla products this week because it's all about all these issues. What do you think about all of that?
Deja vu.
Deja vu.
Yeah, I've been through this before. If you invest in Elon Musk and his companies, then you must understand we're dealing with, a giant of the century, a giant of this age, a giant of this millennium. I mean, he will stand, in the hall of the giants of the millennium, of the last 2 millennium. There hasn't been an engineer philosopher like him in centuries. I mean, Henry Ford just engineered the car and multiplied the car. I mean, Edison kind of reached that stature. And if you look around today, you'll see 3, 4, 5 companies that were part of what Edison created,
Right.
along with JP Morgan. I mean, Morgan was very responsible for what
Right.
is.
Right.
But, where Elon is kind of, it's even beyond that. And maybe it's because, I'm seeing it in my age and my time. But I believe he'll reach Mars, and that will be a crowning achievement of his career. And even if he doesn't reach Mars in his lifetime, he will have created the platform to reach Mars,
Right.
which kind of stands, it is truly an achievement of the ages, I should say.
I think,
So,
Larry, I agree with you that reaching Mars is huge, and it's his focus. It's the number one thing that all else builds toward. But I think that replacing the world of labor with bots will have a bigger impact on wealth than ChatGPT and the
I'm not that
internet.
excited about what his wealth is or not. Honestly, I
His
don't.
wealth, not his
I'm
wealth,
not a
world wealth. The
and
world.
world. Yes, I mean, but I don't. Firstly, I don't attribute that to Elon,
I see.
because there are going to be 20 bot companies, and it's going to be a fight for market share, and it's going to, we're not living like in the turn of the century where a telephone company could
Right.
take over the world. I don't believe that. It is beyond my conception that a company will be allowed to own that world, and I don't think they will. I think that there are a lot of players, and that they will all participate in this. So I don't ascribe that. I mean, it's a very important moment, a very important factor, and Tesla have a particular approach that I think is very important and very valuable, but I think reaching Mars is truly, I mean, it will make creating the robots part of the venture and part of the value of getting to Mars. So,
Right. Yeah.
because Mars is going to have to be populated by a lot more bots than it is by people.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Well, in the general economy, we have Reuters reporting this. With results in from about 2/3 of companies, fourth quarter 2023 S&P 500 earnings growth is now seen at 9%. That's almost double the January 1 forecast, which was 4.7% growth, according to LSEG data on Friday. About 81% of the reports are beating analyst expectations. That's about a norm or a good number.
Yep.
Compared with 76% in the previous 4 reporting periods, so better than all of last year. A lot of surprises in the earnings. The revenues were actually a little off, and there was a lot of headlines about companies reducing workforce. That has shown up in a couple of articles I've been reading. Companies wanting to be leaner and meaner going into the year. So what does all of that say to you, Larry?
It comes as a very big surprise to me just how well the quarter ended, or is ending. I didn't expect it. It's kind of making it's I'm blushing in my short-sightedness, and maybe I was wrong about the economy, but we did learn that we did, for example, see trueflation down to 1.3%.
I know.
And it's happening at such an incredible rate. So, this could be a very dangerous moment, or it could be a very fine moment. I mean, if we are already in a deflationary mode, and when inflation is coming from a very high point to a very low point very rapidly, that is deflation. Function is deflation. So if we're in a deflationary moment, then the current posture of the Federal Reserve and the interest rates on long-term debt are exactly wrong.
Right.
The fact that the market is doing so well and it you know is at unprecedented levels, record levels. We hit records today. Could be an offset to that. It could well say, well, this will offset the possible deflationary impact or the possibility of the restrictive impact of deflation. I think we're in uncharted territories. We've never been here before. For inflation to spike to that level and for GDP to spike at that level and then to come down, is the GDP growth still reflective of 2 years ago, 1 year ago, money supply?
Right.
Is it going to come crashing down? And what is the impact going to be of Chinese deflation?
Yeah.
Of the Chinese meltdown? I think China, the story has not yet been told. So a lot of economists are saying, perfect landing, all good, this is wonderful. And I'm saying that this is an unprecedented set of circumstances that could end up very badly. And so I'm taking a very, very cautious approach. It is true, I'm beginning to add Tesla. I've been actually adding Tesla, but I add, judiciously and carefully. I thought the prices were going to go down to 160, and we kind of nearly touched it or did touch it. I can't even remember, but I thought it was going to go down. And I think it's okay for the moment, but and now I'm talking just Tesla, not the economy.
Right.
But there are some very rocky waters we have to navigate with this Delaware court, Elon.
Right.
All of this has to be navigated. So if you're looking to make short-term profits, don't. If you're looking to make a long-term investment in Tesla or accumulate to add to your investment, it's not investment advice I'm trying to give you. I'm just trying to say, for me, I am accumulating at these numbers, knowing that we may see the stock go back down a little bit or a lot for a while.
But anybody that would answer the questions, those 10, 11 questions that you just answered in the way that you did, if other people at home were answering those questions even close to the way that you were answering, even though we disagreed on only one, which is Optimus, but you're just a year out further than I am. So you're basically
Which is nothing.
So therefore, the valuation of Tesla today, based on those analyses, would be in multiples of where it is right now, even just on a discounted basis from expected earnings. Yeah,
absolutely. If you take a calculation of all the pieces, if you do this value of the pieces of the parts, you would come up with a very large number. And I'm not going to try and come up with that number because it's crazy.
Yeah.
It is definitely in the multiples of where we are now. Kathy, the ARK Invest have done those numbers, and they've done it on a Monte Carlo simulation, which is the perfect way to do these things.
Right.
People don't understand it. Maybe one day we'll have a little discussion about the Monte Carlo method. But it is a very, very, very sound basis for this kind of valuation. And her numbers are very high indeed compared to the numbers we've been talking about. And, she was right with her last great call on Tesla. So
she's talking
time will tell.
She's talking about $2,000 in 2029. Yeah.
That's right.
So
and whether she misses by a year or two, one way or the other, and whether she misses by 100% or 50%, one way or another, doesn't matter. You're talking 5 to 10 to 20 times the current value of Tesla.
Right.
But you must be able to hold without margin.
Right.
For that period of time.
Right. Yep, exactly right. Well, Larry, I think, that's the news today because, there was also a dearth of news today. I don't know whether the reporters are already traveling to their friend's house or wherever they're going to go in order to spend the entire weekend thinking about the Super Bowl. But hopefully our teams will win this weekend. I guess I'm thinking that it's going to be a really close game. At least, let's just say, I think a very well matched pair of quarterbacks.
This is all over my head. I have no clue. I have no clue. I don't even know which way the teams run on the field.
So,
Randy, thank you very much.
well,
Great.
listen, I just have one last couple of thoughts
Yeah.
here. One of those is that Tesla is down a few cents in the aftermarket. It was up and now just down a few cents. And also, I did a video earlier today with Cern Basher because you told me to.
Yeah,
And
he's
it
great.
it's a great video. We talked about the future potential for Optimus, lots and lots of charts and graphs, deep analysis with lots and lots of
Yeah, he's great.
deep thought. Anyway, that video is up, ready to go. People, you can go look at it right here. I'll put the card up right there. And other than that, Larry, enjoy your weekend, even if you don't get to watch the football game.
Randy, have a great weekend. Enjoy the football.
All right. And to all of you out there, you enjoy the football game too. It's been great talking to you.